Have you ever noticed that when things go a bit sideways, there's often this really punishing voice inside your head?
Oh, yeah,
One that doesn't just critique, but sort of declares everything useless, makes you feel completely wrong-footed.
totally. Tammy Simon, who founded Sounds True, she talks about this, right? Experiencing it as a deeply self-aggressive voice.
Exactly. And often, she says, it's out of step with the actual magnitude of situations.
Hmm.
It's such a universal struggle, this internal battle against being kind to ourselves, especially when we think we've messed up.
Right.
But here's the thing, and this is what we're diving into today,
Mm.
mastering how you relate to that voice.
Mm.
It isn't just about feeling a bit better.
No, it's much deeper.
It's a profound skill. It can genuinely transform how you handle tough times, how you take those necessary risks, and how you really connect with who you are.
Precisely. And that's our goal for this deep dive. We're going to unpack some really powerful insights.
Where are these coming from?
Well, we've got a great mix: leading psychologists, Dharma teachers, neurobiologists, writers, a real range.
Okay.
And the mission here is really to help you understand how to build a kinder, more compassionate relationship with yourself, whatever's going on.
That's good.
And you'll find these insights are super practical, stuff you can use right away, like understanding that negativity bias your brain has, or learning how to respond to yourself in more self-loving ways. It can really shift your day-to-day experience.
Okay, so let's start where the struggle often begins, right?
Yeah.
That inner critic.
Yep, the critic.
Tammy Simon, you mentioned her. She shared this really powerful story about her own journey. Early on, starting Sounds True when she was just 22.
Wow, young.
Yeah. What she saw as a misstep actually kicked off this fierce inner critic. It drove her to try and design her whole life just to avoid failures.
At all costs.
Exactly. She realized this voice spoke to her in a way she'd never speak to anyone else.
That's a key point.
Yet there it was, living inside her, ready to pounce if things didn't go perfectly. And like we said, she found it was often way out of proportion to what was actually happening.
And that experience, it's so incredibly common.
Right.
Tara Brach, the psychologist and meditation teacher, she calls it the trance of unworthiness.
The trance of unworthiness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this deep-seated, almost hypnotic feeling that we're just fundamentally not quite measuring up.
Like we're always falling short.
Exactly. Always comparing ourselves to some ideal, constantly evaluating, and, ending up feeling not okay or inherently deficient. It's like this subtle background noise of inadequacy.
And it can feel overwhelmingly real in the moment.
Mm.
Jean Roth, another fantastic writer, she describes the madness that ensues when we buy into this critic, the voice, she calls it.
Oh, I remember this story.
Yeah, she talks about visiting a friend who's recovering from surgery. Seems fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on the drive home, boom, this Greek chorus of judgments hits her. I can't believe I didn't do that Qigong practice. What's wrong with me?
What?
And it wasn't just thoughts. Physical reactions, pounding heart, feeling like she was shrinking.
Intense.
Followed by this wave of feeling like an irrevocable failure, sheer panic. It's like, yeah, like you said, an entity takes over, totally disproportionate.
It really is. And it's fascinating when you look at where these critical voices often come from.
Like our past.
Exactly. They often echo voices from childhood parents, teachers, maybe anxious relatives. Our subconscious just keeps playing these old tapes.
Try and protect us somehow.
Yeah, that's the key insight. It acts like an inner protector that's kind of stuck in the past. It thinks the world is still as threatening as it might have seemed when we were kids.
So it tries to keep us small and safe.
Right. By preventing what it sees as potential failures or rejections. Tara Brach talks about a client, Bob, an overachiever, always striving, right? But not from joy. He was trying to prove himself. He found his inner conflict came from two parts. One part bought into his father's limiting beliefs, like, I'm not good enough. And another part pushed him relentlessly to succeed, precisely to avoid feeling that way. These parts seem opposite, but both were trying to protect him, just in really unhelpful ways.
That's such a crucial point. The critic thinks it's helping.
Right.
It connects to something else Tara Brach noticed. She saw how often her meditation students had this extra layer of self-judgment when they were already having a hard time.
Ah, the double whammy.
Yeah, exactly. They say things like, okay, I'm suffering like this, and I feel like I'm a terrible person because I'm suffering like this.
Adding judgment on top of pain. And that self-judgment, it then acts like a lid on our potential, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, Tammy Simon observed how it keeps sensitive, really good-hearted people feeling safe, small, contained, and underpotentiated.
Right, instead of seeing their strengths.
They get fixated on what they think is lacking. It stops them from taking risks, from really putting themselves out there. So this protector, ironically, diminishes the very person it's trying to keep safe.
Okay, so this inner battle is clear. But what about our biology? How does our brain itself play into this?
Yeah, the neuroscience angle is really interesting here.
Rick Hansen, the neuroscientist, talks about neurons that fire together wire together.
That's the one. And here's the kicker. Our brains are apparently like Velcro for the negative, but Teflon for the positive.
Velcro for the negative, Teflon for the positive. Say more about that.
It means we're incredibly good at learning from bad experiences. That stuff sticks. But we're surprisingly bad at learning from good ones.
So like 20 things could go right,
Yeah.
but you fixate on the one thing that went wrong.
Precisely, that one criticism, that one stumble, your brain just gloms onto it. Industrial strength glue, like you said.
Wow, why?
Well, the brain's default is always negative, and it's not really a design flaw. It's more of a survival mechanism.
From evolution.
Exactly. Millions of years of it. Our ancestors had to prioritize spotting danger. That rustle in the bushes might be a predator, so better safe than sorry. Pleasure was secondary to not getting eaten.
Makes sense.
Rick Hansen tells this great little story about his 6-year-old stepdaughter. After vacation, she lists 3 things she loved.
Okay.
And then, apparently, with this little devilish look, she rubs her hands together and says, "Okay, now can we talk about 3 things that we hated about our vacation?"
Huh. That's brilliant. It's innate.
It really seems to be. It's like our brains come with this built-in bug report feature that's just always running in the background.
So, okay, given this negativity bias, this Velcro brain, it maybe makes sense why when something genuinely good does happen, a compliment or whatever, a lot of us just brush it off.
Yeah, we deflect it. It feels counterintuitive, doesn't it? Why push away the good stuff?
It really does.
But there are reasons. The sources we looked at dig into this. Some people worry they'll lose their edge, like
Yeah.
feeling good means letting your guard down, inviting trouble.
Okay, I can see that.
Others carry this deep shame, feeling they just don't deserve to feel good. Or it's cultural conditioning.
Like how?
Well, maybe women being socialized to focus on making others feel good, not themselves. Or men feeling they have to be the stoic warrior, where feeling good just isn't part of the deal.
So we actively, maybe unconsciously, resist our own well-being.
That's the profound implication, yeah. We resist feeling good.
Wow. And that resistance can be really deep-rooted. Harville Hendrix and Helen LaKelly Hunt share this incredible anecdote.
The dinner one.
Yes. This woman had complained for years, that her husband never thanked her for dinner.
Okay.
So he finally starts doing it, genuinely thanking her. And her reaction? Anger.
Anger, not relief.
Anger. Because as they figured out, accepting his love, his appreciation, would violate the internal injunction she got from her mother.
What did the mother say?
Tragically, something like, "You will never be loved. You're not worth being loved."
Oh my goodness. So receiving love felt dangerous.
Exactly. It shows how letting in good things, compliments, love, it can actually stir up deep anxiety because it threatens to change our self-configuration.
Our sense of who we are.
Right. It might shift us from being this familiar, maybe smaller person self to a bigger, different person.
And the brain, wired for predictability, hates that unknown, even if the change is positive.
So it resists.
It resists. We unconsciously protect that familiar, limited sense of self, even if it means rejecting love and growth. It's quite something.
Okay, so we've unpacked the critic, its origins, this brain wiring that leans negative, and even our resistance to good things. Understanding the why is huge. But what can we actually do about it? How do we change that inner conversation?
Right, the practical steps. Tara Brach talks about radical self-acceptance. And a crucial first step she mentions is neutral noticing without engagement. Meaning, when those negative thoughts or feelings pop up, you just notice them, neutrally, without immediately getting sucked in or fighting them.
And add caring curiosity.
Yes, like, there's that thought again. Observe it rather than collapsing into it.
Okay, that's a start. What else? How do we actively disempower the critic?
Well, Robert Augustus Masters has some powerful ideas here. He really emphasizes that the inner critic isn't some solid thing, it's a doing, an activity we empower.
An activity, yeah, okay.
He tells this amazing story about a client who was severely suicidal because of her inner critic. After some deep work, she just suddenly screamed, "I am not you."
Wow. A direct disidentification.
Exactly, a powerful interruption. He also suggests having anger on tap, not destructive rage, but focused energy to say an effective no to the critic, or even having a dialogue with it.
Like visualize it.
Yeah, maybe visualize it in a chair across from you and talk to it. The core idea is you can interrupt the act of criticizing yourself. You don't have to just take it.
I like that. Interrupting the act.
Yeah.
And Stephen Hayes, with ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, he has tools too, right?
Absolutely. ACT is all about accepting what you can't control and committing to your values. Hayes talks about perspective taking.
Stepping back.
Yeah, stepping back from that unkind inner voice, noticing it with curiosity, like receiving a strange gift, almost.
Okay. And diffusion.
Yes, diffusion methods. These are great, like taking a word you used to judge yourself, say ugly, and just repeating it fast. Ugly, ugly.
Ugly. What does that do?
It starts to sound weird, just a noise. It loses its punch. Or even better, sing the judgment, I am so ugly, to the tune of Happy Birthday.
Chuckles, huh?
Seriously? Research shows it quickly dials down the distress and makes the thought less believable. You're not arguing with it, you're just diffusing its power playfully.
That's brilliant. You undermine its seriousness.
Exactly. You strip it of its power without a fight. He also mentions the sunset mode of mind, just observing your mental processes descriptively, appreciatively, like watching a sunset, without judging them.
That sounds peaceful. Now, what about IFS, internal family systems? How does that view the critic?
IFS, developed by Richard Schwartz, sees our inner world like a family of different parts. And the inner critic, it's seen as another protector part.
Ah, back to the protector idea.
Right. But what's revolutionary in IFS is this. The critic isn't trying to hurt you deep down. It's trying to protect you, usually based on past experiences.
So the approach isn't to fight it.
No. The insight is, when you approach this protector part with curiosity and compassion, ask it what it's afraid would happen if it stopped criticizing. It can finally relax.
And transform?
Exactly. It can shift from being a harsh critic to maybe a constructive encourager or find a new, helpful role. It involves dialogue with these parts.
Okay, so lots of ways to disarm the critic. What about actively building up the positive side? Cultivating kindness.
Yes, self-compassion. Really crucial. There's a powerful practice described where you picture someone else struggling with something similar to what you're facing.
Okay.
You naturally feel compassion for them, right?
Sure, yeah.
Then you consciously redirect that exact same feeling back to yourself. You can even visualize yourself at different ages, as a child, a teen now, and offer that kindness.
Redirecting the compassion inward.
And it works. There was a study, Shapira and Mongrain, that found talking to yourself like a good friend for just 7 days straight.
Yeah.
It lowered depression scores for 3 months and boosted happiness for 6 months.
Wow. Just from 7 days of practice.
Yeah. Simple but powerful. You can also use physical gestures like putting a hand on your heart and use kind words like you would to a friend. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. This is really hard right now.
That feels much gentler than the critic.
Infinitely.
Now, shifting gears a bit. Colin tipping and radical forgiveness. This sounds, well, radical.
It really is a paradigm shift. His core idea is basically, there are no accidents, there are no mistakes.
Everything serves a purpose, even the bad stuff.
Everything serves our soul's growth, is how he puts it. So from that higher perspective, there is nothing to forgive. Because it wasn't wrong in the first place, it was part of the plan.
That's a big leap from blaming ourselves or others.
Huge. It involves 5 stages, generally. Telling the story of what happened, really feeling the feelings, then collapsing the story, seeing its limitations, how it's just one interpretation.
Okay.
Then reframing it, looking for the gift or the learning in it, the higher purpose. And finally, integrating that new perspective.
It sounds like a process.
Definitely a process.
Yeah.
It's about opening up to a spiritual view beyond just human right and wrong. But tipping found it has an immediate effect on people energetically.
How so?
It lifts them out of victim mode, out of blame.
Yeah.
It brings a sense of peace that often conventional forgiveness, which can still imply a wrong was done, doesn't quite reach.
And he implies this to things like money shame or body image issues.
Yes, he explains how our ingrained beliefs, maybe money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are inherently bad, or I'm not worthy of a healthy body, literally shape our reality.
They create what we experience.
Right. And he offers this interesting tool. Notice who you judge harshly for having certain traits or struggles. Those judgments often point directly to your own hidden subconscious beliefs about yourself or the world.
Like a mirror.
Exactly. And that leads to his crucial distinction between assumptions and beliefs.
What's the difference?
Beliefs, he says, are rigid. We feel we have to defend them. They put us in a box.
Okay.
Assumptions, though, are flexible, challengeable. If an assumption isn't serving you, you can just drop it. No big fight needed.
So treating limiting ideas as assumptions gives us freedom.
Precisely. That flexibility is key to transformation. You're not attacking a core belief. You're just discarding an unhelpful assumption. Much easier.
Okay, so we've moved from the critic to compassion to radical forgiveness. Where does this lead us in terms of a deeper sense of self-acceptance? How does it change our fundamental sense of being?
Great question. Judith Blackstone talks about moving beyond just thinking about who we are to actually inhabiting the body.
Inhabiting the body.
Yeah, shifting from an idea of self to a direct, quality-rich experience of our innate qualities. She suggests we can feel intelligence centered in the brain, love in the chest, power in the midsection, actually feeling these as present within us.
Like tuning into different energy centers.
Sort of, but more about experiencing them as fundamental qualities of our being accessed through the body. By really living within the body, she says, we build this deep intimacy with ourselves.
What does that intimacy give us?
It allows us to stay loyal to ourselves, even if others criticize us. It helps us accept imperfections, like body image stuff, because we know our body is a vessel of these innate qualities, not just its surface appearance.
So it fosters acceptance from the inside out.
Exactly. And interestingly, she finds it also reveals this natural internal unity and even a sense of oneness with other people, because these core qualities are universal.
Mark Nippo takes this further, right?
Right.
He calls self-acceptance a quiet courage.
Yes, I love that phrase. It's about the courage to feel what life gives us all the way through. Not just dipping our toes in, but really experiencing it fully, the good and the bad.
Instead of avoiding the uncomfortable bits.
Right. Which connects beautifully to this idea you find in many traditions, dropping down from the surface waves of thought and emotion.
The constant chatter and ups and downs.
Down into the depths of the sea, the stillness underneath. In that depth, our individual self connects with what some call all self.
The universal presence.
Exactly. That unchanging awareness that permeates everything. When you connect with that, you realize there are no strangers in the heart. Fundamentally, we're all connected in that shared presence.
And Tara Brach comes back here with a really radical take on emotions.
Yeah, she really challenges us. She invites us to welcome our fears, to actually actively look for what we don't want to feel.
Whoa. Actively look for the bad feelings. Why?
It's like that classic Buddhist analogy. You see a coiled shape in the dark garden, you freak out thinking it's a snake.
Right.
But if you avoid looking closer, you stay scared of the snake. If you actually turn on the light, bring awareness to it, you see. Oh, it's just the garden hose.
So avoiding the painful feeling keeps us trapped in the scary illusion.
Exactly. We stay trapped in distorted interpretations.
So she suggests we love our fears.
Yes, it's a profound invitation, like a parent holding a crying baby. The parent doesn't necessarily stop the crying instantly, but they hold the baby with unconditional love through the upset.
Holding our fear with love.
Right. She says that recovering experiential ownership of exactly what we had to disown as children, the fear, the sadness, the anger, will paradoxically cultivate both more aliveness and more safety.
Paradoxical indeed. Embracing fear leads to safety.
By embracing it, we integrate it. We reclaim those lost parts of ourselves, which leads to feeling more whole, more alive, and ultimately more secure in ourselves.
Which brings us to this ultimate point that seems to run through many of these sources.
That you are presence itself.
Yes. Not just the thoughts, not just the feelings, but the unchanging background. The vastness of sky where all the clouds of thought and weather patterns of emotion come and go.
And that presence is acceptance. It's the true home where every feeling, every experience, no matter how difficult, is already welcome, already held.
Wow. Okay, so that's quite a journey we've taken. From really understanding that inner critic and our brain's negativity bias.
Yeah, the Velcro brain.
Through these really practical tools like the diffusion methods, the self-compassion practices.
Radical forgiveness.
And finally landing in this deeper, more universal sense of self-acceptance as presence itself.
It's a lot to take in, but hopefully really useful. And it's important to remember self-acceptance isn't like flipping a switch. It's not a passive state you just arrive at.
It's active.
It's an active choice. It's a process, not a one-time event, as Jean Roth realized when she finally chose not to believe the voice.
Right, that moment of choice.
It takes intention, ongoing awareness, and crucially, the willingness to question those deep-seated beliefs that might have been running the show without you even knowing it.
And it feels like the most profound shifts often happen in those moments of real connection, real vulnerability, maybe with ourselves, maybe with others, just showing up fully.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought for you to carry forward from all this.
Yeah.
It comes from Stephen Hayes, actually. The places where you hurt are the places where you care.
Hurt equals caring.
Yeah. If you're not willing to hurt, you can't afford to care. True self-acceptance allows you to embrace both the inevitable pain that comes with caring and the caring itself. And that really is what links your life to what you value most deeply.
Embracing it all. A powerful place to end.
It's the path to a fully lived life, isn't it?